Today I want to show you 4 fun findings that are quite recent. They are interesting and illuminating both for believers, archaeologists and theologians. In 2023, just last year, pictures and information about this hand-sized stone slab with Hebrew writing on it was published around the world. It had been found a few years earlier in Jerusalem at the pilgrimage road, which leads from the city gate to the gate of the Temple Mount. There have been previously finds of stone weights and measuring tables, which indicate that this road was a commercial hub. So this stone receipt has 7 lines of partially preserved text that mention people's names and sums of money. The stone is actually a fragmented lid of an ossuary, that is a burial chest. It's a rare and gratifying find that allows a glimpse into everyday life in Jerusalem. I'll talk a bit longer about this finding. It's interesting. Only a few years ago, in 2021, they found a skeleton of a pig during an excavation in Jerusalem, very close to the Temple Mount. It's some 2700 years old, and it's very odd to find a pig, as there were strict prohibitions against eating pigs in the law of the Jews. It's not even the first time pig remains are found, but they are infrequent. The room where they found the pig skeleton also showed remains of fire and many other animal bones. This leads the archaeologists to think that it was a room for preparing food. This pig was maybe 6 months old by the size of the skeleton when it died. They also found jewelry that indicated that the house belonged to a wealthy family that definitely could afford to stay away from pork. Kashrut is a set of dietary laws dealing with the foods that Jewish people are permitted to eat and how those foods must be prepared according to Jewish law. Food that they may consume is deemed kosher, and food that's not to be consumed, however, is deemed treif. And most of the basic laws of Kashrut are derived from the Torah's book of Leviticus and Deuteronomy. It was found during an excavation of a Jerusalem parking lot that's been taking place for about 15 years, uncovering artifacts from many centuries, so it's quite interesting. This pig did not end up on a plate, but it seemed to have been trapped during an earthquake. Anyhow, they say that about 2% of the animal bones they found also in other digs have been from pigs, so it's not totally uncommon, even if they maybe only had pig once a year. It's like cheating not on your wife but on God once a year, so that is quite frequent. The pottery next to the pig is from the 8th century BC. Among other artifacts they found were bullae, which are clay document seals, inscribed with Jewish names in Paleo-Hebrew script. This next item is also found in 2021, so not many years ago. It's a private toilet, and it was a rare luxury in ancient days. A cubicle surrounding the toilet and a deep septic tank beneath it were both carved out in limestone bedrock. This one is from 1 century later, that's the 7th century BC. It was found in a rectangular cabin that was part of a sprawling mansion overlooking what is now the old city of Jerusalem. They also found gorgeous ornamented stones, window frames, etc. So the mansion truly was for wealthy, maybe even royal people. This is a second, and I promise the last toilet I'll be talking about. It was found a few years earlier in 2016. This toilet was discovered in a shrine in Lachish in Israel. This one I find more interesting than the last one. Archaeologists have found small altars with horned corners that had been smashed in the corner of the room where this toilet was erected. Storage jars belonging to the king Hezekiah were also found in the same gate complex, so it's probably from his time, the 8th century BC. Here are the seal impressions on ceramic jar handles bearing the crest of King Hezekiah with clear Hebrew writing on them, which in of itself is evidence for another biblical king. So in 2 Kings 18 we read that King Hezekiah removed the high places, smashed the sacred stones and cut down the Asherah poles. And what he did was kind of imitate an earlier king. In chapter 10 we read, they demolished the sacred stone of Baal and tore down the temple of Baal, and people have used it for latrine to this day. So devastation and defecation and desecration of religious site, it was really a thing back then. Over 1,000 Assyrian arrowheads have also been found here in Lachish from the battle in 701 BC. The Assyrians documented that even visually in reliefs, which you can see in the British Museum even today. That was all for now. 4 fun findings. Take care. Bye bye.